I don't know. Cardale might regret this decision, and everyone's applauding him, saying that he's putting his education first. But it doesn't mean he can't go back to school when he's done playing football. I mean, lots of people go back to school when they're 30.
Exactly. And you're going to have at least a pretty high round draft pick payday. I mean, it's not huge, but you handle it right. You can use that to go back to college if it doesn't work out. I
made this analogy yesterday. He's basically playing deal or no deal. And he turned down the deal, and now he's going to press his luck. We'll see. Because if it would have came out this year, say conservatively, like a 4th-round pick, that would have been a couple million, a couple $100,000 signing bonus in the bank, and you're ready to go. You're learning on the job. Now, who knows? I mean, it's definitely a possibility. You never wish this on any kid, but he could be Marcus Lattimore.
Yeah, I mean, it could happen. And going back to play in college when you're NFL eligible and likely to be drafted, we talked about the opposite side last week, but man, it is taking a huge, huge risk on your future. It's a risk going into the NFL, but it's pretty risky staying in college too.
But Mark Dominic, who's the former Bucks GM, is on ESPN now, made a good point this morning. He said that if Cardale Jones goes back and doesn't win the starting job and just sits and then comes out next year, his floor is probably still about the 4th round because he still has this decent amount of tape in those 3 games, and he also still has all the measurables that then I was looking for anyways.
Exactly. I mean, the only thing, is what if him and Urban Meyer made some sort of deal where he is going to be the starter or something to that effect? You don't know. I mean, we don't know. Mm-hmm. I mean, guys have been called the starter before the season starts before. So, just saying.
Urban Meyer was on Letterman, which airs tonight, but Mike and Mike played some of the audio, and Urban Meyer said that he didn't promise Cardale anything.
Oh, really?
I think that's probably a bunch of hooey. I think if I was in Urban shoes, I would have promised Cardale, you will have the first shot in spring practice, but other than that, I can't promise you anything.
Right. That's fair.
Yeah. And I don't know what's going to happen. I think Braxton Miller is probably going to be the odd man out, especially since he has virtual free agency. I see him going to, like, Wisconsin. I know that LSU and even Florida State, like their porn star, what's-her-face, have been trying to recruit him down there. Of course Florida State would have a porn star unofficial recruiter. Yeah, who knew? I even did my part. I sent Braxton the apply link for the University of Minnesota Twin Cities, so I don't know. I guess.
Oh, that's awful. You really did?
Yeah, twice.
Oh, my God. You're awful.
But Ezekiel Elliott, here's an interesting case. So he was finally released in the final 3 games because he hadn't put up a ton of numbers with JT Barrett, with Braxton Miller, and he gets loose in the 3 biggest games of his career. As a true sophomore, cannot come out. There's a lot of scuttlebutt that's saying that he should sit a year and then come out in the draft next year.
Man, he's good. I mean, at a running back, I mean, they're all dangerous positions. But man, I would be nervous to put it all out there. I mean, that's just such a huge risk. I don't know. That's just me. It's such a personal decision. I mean, and obviously you have a coach and a team who you also have to work that out with. But man, that is scary. I would die. That would be too hard for me to figure out.
You don't have to go any farther than the Marcus Lattimore.
Exactly.
He was basically the exact same spot. There was a lot of talk that Clowney should have taken this route. And I don't know. Like you said, a running back. I would be tempted.
Every play you get hit. Every play that you're involved in, you're either blocking or you're running.
Just work out like a beast the entire year. Work on your soft skills like pass blocking, receiving. Just get yourself completely ready for the draft and then just come out and beast. Because I said this after the game, the Oregon offense is neat and will probably eventually win a championship, but north-south power running, control the clock will always be in vogue and will always win games, and Ezekiel Elliott is one of those backs.
Yeah. I mean, he's just powerful, and he drags defenders, and he's fun to watch. I had a good time watching that guy the past few weeks.
So he sits out, and the Texans grab him in the second round, at the top of the second round, because Texans. And then the remnants of Bay, and then Ezekiel Elliott, two-headed monster. Come on.
I would take that in a heartbeat.
See,
Are you kidding me?
There you go.
I mean, of course, I'd rather find a hidden gem running back late like the Texans usually do. But Zeke's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Now, here's a question. Say Cardale Jones did come out, complete hypothetical, and the Texans took him in the 3rd round. Would you be happy with that?
Yeah, sure.
Just
in
throw
the
him
3rd
on
round?
Yeah.
Do it. I have friends who would take him higher than that.
In low places.
That too. But we don't listen to Garth Brooks collectively. Thank you. So yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't mind it.
All right, so the college football playoff is a massive success. The championship game was the highest rated program in the history of cable television with an 18.9 share, which equals to about 33 million viewers. And this on top of the 2 semifinal games being huge ratings as well. And this is not going to stay at 4 for long, is it?
No, I don't think so. They see how profitable it is, and I'm sure they thought about that before. But if they can have more games with more advertisers and more income, well, the NCAA is going to take the money every freaking time.
Yeah, and there is like a contract in place that says for the next 10 years, that's before, except contracts aren't worth the paper that they're printed on half the time. And I do feel the games are awesome, don't get me wrong, but I do feel it took away emphasis from the Fiesta Bowl and the Orange Bowl, the 2 bowls that used to be the BCS bowls are now left out. And I guess that's kind of collateral damage. I think the ideal setup would be 8 teams. Have the top 4 seeds host a home game the weekend after the conference championship games, and then have the Final 4 play out as it was this year.
I'm down with that.
I mean, how awesome would it be if you're one of the top 4 seeds and you get an extra home game in the end of November when it's going to be snowing a little bit? Oh, babe, no. Beginning of December, excuse me. And that would be awesome.
That would be an interesting setup. I mean, this one turned out so well, and there were so many questions going into it that I think I'm definitely down if they decide to switch it up even again already.
All right. Speaking of down, we're pressing our luck, so we got to get out of here for our first break. We're coming back with a little NFL talk, a little something, as Claire's basketball team GM compares basketball to a little something different. I don't know, a bunch of stuff. And we'll get to our Super Bowl picks. Who's going? Who's staying? Who's watching from home? I don't know. We'll be right back. Claire-vs-Carlson Show.
Millionaires are being made all season long at DraftKings.com, America's favorite one-week fantasy football site.
1 week fantasy means no season-long commitments, Claire. Play whenever you want, which I know you love to do.
Got an injured player? Not a problem. At DraftKings.com, it's like a new season every week. So you're never stuck with the same players, luckily for you, Carlson.
Pick your team in minutes, and you could be on your way to winning huge cash.
And this season, one listener turned $10 into $5,000.
Another turned $2 into $10,000. $2 into $10,000.
And a new millionaire has been crowned nearly every week this season at DraftKings.com.
You could be next. Imagine winning $1 million in one day just playing fantasy football at DraftKings.com. Get free entry into their $100,000 fantasy football contest this weekend, where first place takes home $10,000. Head to DraftKings.com now and enter promo code Spreaker, Spreaker, to play it for free. DraftKings.com. Bigger events, bigger winnings, bigger millionaires. Enter Spreaker for free entry now at DraftKings.com. DraftKings.com. DraftKings.com.
Straight cash, homie.
And we're coming back. We had an awesome little phlegm attack, and Claire was doing her, talking about Daryl Morey a little bit.
So funny.
I thought it was pretty funny. I guess I could see how it could be offensive, but...
Okay, if you don't like the idea of men being sexually attracted to women, that's how it's offensive to me, honestly. He said nothing, no words that were actually vulgar in any way. He said, read it. I'll read it.
All right. We'll get to that. First, let's get to the NFL stuff, but that'll be a little tease.
Okay.
That'll be a little tease. And plus now I have time to think of a labia joke. So the divisional games, the biggest surprise of the weekend, like I said last week, this is my favorite weekend of football because you got the top 4 seeds, 4 teams that won a playoff game, and then also you get the national championship game right after. Hello. Patriots beat the Ravens 35-31, coming back from 14 twice. Seahawks handled the Panthers 31-17. It wasn't really a shocker there. Panthers could not get anything going. Packers cheat the Cowboys 26-11. That was still a catch, Claire.
After the Cowboys cheated the Lions.
And the Colts thump the Broncos 24-13 in the whole cliche hashtag changing of the guard game. Claire, what stuck out to you?
You know, I don't know if I like how John Elway is running the Broncos, but he had a really good point about how this team has lost its fight at the very end of their seasons under John Fox. And the Broncos I figured they had the talent to make up for and obviously something wrong with him, Peyton Manning. Mm-hmm. They didn't. And it didn't look like they gave it that much effort, to be honest. So that one really surprised me.
Yeah, no, and John Fox is kind of he's I'm trying to find the words to describe him. He's a good coach. He's not great. Like,
right.
You have to respect what he did in Carolina. He took the Panthers to a Super Bowl with Jake freaking Delhomme. And he took the Broncos to a Super Bowl last year, even though a lot of that could be attributed to Peyton. And he has a solid record as a head coach, but I wouldn't want him coaching my team.
Yeah. I mean, he seems to have a little bit of when the pressure gets, heavy, he kind of goes fishing, it feels like, He doesn't seem to really deal with the problems at hand. Like, they're in a huge high-pressure situation the past couple of years, and honestly, he just craps the bed.
Yeah, well, the last 4 years in Denver, he has won 4 division titles. The first year was the whole Tebow mess, and they did win a playoff game, beat the Steelers at home, and then losing to the Patriots in the divisional round. And then the year after that, they lost at home, first year of Peyton Manning, the whole Hail Flacco, Raheem Moore game. Last year, of course, was the woodshedding, the absolute ass-kicking in the Super Bowl. And then this year was the loss to the Colts. And 24-13, it didn't even seem that close, to be honest.
No, it didn't. It felt like the Broncos were playing defeated the whole time.
Yeah, but John Fox is out in Denver. Looks like reports saying that he's going to be inked today in Chicago. And as a Vikings fan, as an inhabitant of the NFC North, I'm perfectly fine with them going to John Fox.
Yeah, because they don't have strong enough people. I mean, they're basically going to implode, I think, under John Fox. They're already such children running around that organization that I don't feel that John Fox is the type of figurehead you need to take charge and say, this is everybody's job, do it, damn it, and we're going to win football games.
And now, do you believe that it was the mutual parting that John Elway was talking about when John Fox decided to leave Denver?
I think that there's probably a lot going on in that relationship that we don't know. It may have been mutual to where they just didn't get along. I don't feel like John Elway he comes out in his press conference and he calls John Fox John Elway, and maybe he's just nervous, but to basically fudge the first line when you're introducing the guy you just let go of doesn't seem like you care that much about the guy you just let go of.
Yeah, it's funny. Doesn't John Elway kind of look and sound like Gary Busey nowadays?
Totally does. Good call.
Yeah. And the reports say that there was friction between him and Fox. I think there might have been a little something between him and Del Rio as well. As Del Rio gets a job in